But all that to say, Blender has literally changed my life. It's changed my life as an artist and made me able to make things I could never imagine before. And I love what I'm able to do with Blender. It's what I call my superpower as a photographer. Blender is my favorite tool. Obviously, everything is just tools to us. It's not. It's an ends to a mean, right? So it's what I want to create. I got to pick the right tool for the job. Blender is one of my favorite tools to create what I'm known for. My name is Daniel Grove, and I am primarily a photographer. I also do videography for a local TV channel. I'm just basically a huge geek. I love sci-fi, I love fantasy, and I love creating unique visuals like that one. That one happens to be me. I don't do self-portraiture as a regular hobby. That would be kind of weird. No offense if you do that. But that one happens to be of me. It's a favorite composite I've made. So I do a lot of cosplay composites. Is essentially my niche as a photographer. And I have carved out a really cool niche for myself in this local area. I actually live in about an hour away, just north on I-35, close to San Antonio. And I love what I'm able to do with Blender. It's what I call my superpower as a photographer. And other local photographers who I am friends with and network with, they know that I'm the guy for stuff like this. They know that I'm the guy for special effects or for a creative theme or for a cosplay or Comic-Con or, someone wants a fairy photo shoot for a little girl. Like, I'm the guy for that. And that's a great feeling because people respect what I've learned to create. Yeah, I've done photography for over half my life. I got into Blender when it was around version 2.4, 2.5. Anyone else? Old timers, yeah, back there, you remember? So that's how long I've been using it. And I remember when 2.8 and 3 came out, it's like mind blowing. And here we are with 5. Blender is my favorite tool. Obviously, everything is just tools to us. It's not. It's an ends to a mean, right? So it's what I want to create. I got to pick the right tool for the job. Blender is one of my favorite tools to create what I'm known for. And we've seen Blender used in all kinds of amazing things in recent years. Next Gen, watched it with my kids, phenomenal movie. I think that was about 80-90% in Blender. In Across the Spider-Verse, there was grease pencil used for, I think it was motion effects. We see it being used for storyboarding, concept art, and in Everything Everywhere All at Once. Who's seen that movie? Awesome movie. The, what was it called? The Infinity Bagel? Was inspired by the Blender donut, which Andrew Price, he's over there somewhere. Wasn't he the guy that made that? So that's awesome. We love seeing Blender just seep into these industries and get used more and more on the back end and then more in the forefront. And that inspires me. I'm not gonna, wait for someone else to do it. I'm gonna find new ways to use Blender, and I found some really awesome ways to use Blender. I'll show you in just a matter of minutes. So when I was a kid, movies really inspired me. There was so much revolutionary CGI in the late 90s. Some was good, there was a lot bad, but there was still some good. And the early 2000s, with Lord of the Rings and stuff like that, it was just like, it still has aged well, some of it. And that stuff just blew my mind, the fact that that was made on a computer. Now, a lot of it that inspired me as a kid was big-iatures and miniatures, as we know now. I didn't know that then. Like Fifth Element, a lot of those amazing city scenes. I was like, how is that done on a computer? It looks so real. Well, it turns out they were 20-foot buildings, but that's irrelevant. It inspired me, and I started using Maxon through scrupulous means during middle school, and making abstract art and just finding my way in the 3D world. And eventually, I gave all that stuff up and discovered Blender, and it was like this light turned on. Guilt-free, no strings attached, not worried about the RIA coming and suing me and throwing me in jail, and I can make whatever I want. So that was awesome. So seeing them put real people into CGI scenes in these movies, or CGI objects into real scenes filmed on cameras, that made me want to do that. I wanted to learn how it was done. I wanted to do it good and make something amazing. Sometime around 2014, I went to my first Comic-Con in San Antonio, and I was already into photography since high school, so I was already a pretty decent portrait photographer. But then I discovered photographing cosplayers, which was really fun because it was like a perfect crossroads of my geekiness, my photography-ness, and then now my computer graphics. I could use that in a whole new way to bring these photos to life. And it was so satisfying to me, and people love what I can create. You'll see some in a minute. I promise you. I got some cool pictures here. And you'll see why my work stands out, and you'll see how much fun I have making this stuff. So Superhive, also love seeing you guys represented here, has been a phenomenal service for me. I do sell assets of my stuff, and I purchased stuff on there that's helped my work go to new levels. It's just incredible to see what you can make. So other than that, I have had a successful YouTube channel now teaching Blender. I manage a TV channel in Universal City, which is, again, over by San Antonio, south of here. And I'm using Blender in all these weird ways you'll see. So let's go to the next slide here. But all that to say, Blender has literally changed my life. It's changed my life as an artist and made me able to make things I could never imagine before. So when I was a kid, MS Paint, who remembers playing in that? Maybe I'm a little too old, I can't tell, too young. MS Paint was a, virtually in my mind, unlimited canvas. I opened it up and I was like, I can draw anything. I'll never run out of paper like I would in real life. I never run out of markers or pen. It's infinite. And I still get that sense of wonder when I open Blender now. And I love that. The only limitation, I was telling someone earlier, the only limitation for us Blender artists or creators is basically your talent, which can always be improved, right? That's not a limited thing. Your time, which is kind of limited, and sometimes your GPU power. But the biggest thing is really your skill and your time. And so with those things, you can create anything. So I'm basically living that nerd life. Growing up as a kid, I literally made spaceships. I made schematics and cutaways because I love those cutaway Star Wars books. I would make weapons and fantasies and castles in MS Paint, and now I get to make them in Blender. Well, I almost said for real, but you know what I mean, for much more professionally. Next picture here. So this is just some of my artwork that really, these are actually fun projects. These are not paid projects. I love making this type of stuff. Kitbashing is a big part of my artwork. Some of the products that I sell are kit bashes for spaceships and scenes. And I've just found all kinds of gimmicky ways to make cool art quickly and efficiently without spending weeks on this stuff, obviously without needing a team like you would for most professional productions. So these are some environments that I've made, next one as well, that I use as backgrounds for my cosplayers that I plop them into, as I say, using Photoshop. Now, just like a previous gentleman, I'm not going to come up to a Blender Con and talk about how to use Photoshop. It will be seen later at the end, but next one as well. So these are all just kind of fantasy scenes that I've kit bashed together with some 3D scans, but mostly 3D modeled assets in Blender. And using Blender Compositor has been really powerful. Mostly just the glare and the glows is mostly what I use, and lens distortion. Nothing too crazy with compositing. Most of that work I do in Photoshop, where I'm blending the person in. Next one here, another art scene that I basically kit bashed from assets, I think from Markham 3D, I believe is where those buildings came from. I made the ship. And, I love procedurals, so a lot of procedural sand, because when I do big scenes, I can't have a repeating tile of dirt. I need procedural sand dunes, I need procedural dirt, I need procedural debris or rust and all those things. So they just need to go on to the horizon sometimes or cover a huge superstructure in space. So I really love the Voronoi texture, and I'm praying, fingers crossed here, that we get some additional noise nodes in the future, similar to what After Effects has, to bring those to life. Next one as well. This is a fun scene I made. I saw a photo. I think it was of a ziggurat that was alive, that was standing at one point. Now it's like half that height. It's all corroded and distorted in the desert. But I thought, you know what? I could make that in Blender. It's just cubes, just a bunch of cubes. Some dirt, noise texture on there. Throw some trees in there, and boom. You got a pretty realistic looking render. And I probably did this maybe in 2 hours. It was not a huge project, and I was pretty happy how that turns out. Next one here, we all know and love the Backrooms probably. The movie's coming out next month. I thought it was cool before it became cool, just for the record. What's his name that made it? Kane Pixel. He used Blender for all his videos, and now A24 is making a big budget movie, and he's involved. That's awesome. So I need to add that to my first slide of all the movies that are getting some Blender love, and what's capable with this amazing tool that has been provided to us. Next one here, this is modeled after a Battlefront level in Star Wars, and I actually use that. You'll see in a few slides in the future for a high school senior. He loves Star Wars, as do I. I only have 4 lightsabers at home. Still working on that. I really need to work on that. Talk to my wife about that. But I placed him in here, and it was one of my better composites because the digital, the fake lighting, as I'll say, from my Blender scene, I matched it with my practical lighting at the photo shoot, and everything just blends together so beautifully. This one is obviously an Empire Death Star inspired interior that I modeled. I was holding a dowel rod from Home Depot, 2.5 inch thick, I think, 1.5 inch thick. And I'm a little bit of a fan of yellow sabers and double-sided, so I had to throw that in there. And I was in someone's living room, very ghetto, in front of a white bed sheet behind me with 2 lights. So nothing crazy, but I've never seen an image like this before. And that's actually my slogan in my business is photos you can't get anywhere else. And part of that's due to Blender, which I think is pretty cool. Other than background replacement and inserting cool stuff in people's hands, I've replaced my friend's hands. Paulina is an actor, writer, director, model, all the things in San Antonio. She was actually in Battle Angel Alita. Have y'all seen that movie? Yeah, awesome movie. You know where it was filmed? Right here in Austin, the whole movie. At the guy who made Spy Kids. Yeah, his studio is here. It was like some kind of airplane hangar. Now it's a movie studio. So they shot Battle Angel Alita and Spy Kids here in Austin. Pretty sweet. Anyway, she was a background hunter, I think it was, in like a bar scene. She ended up getting 3 seconds of on screen time. But before that, she didn't know, of course, what the editors would do. But she had gray sleeves on, and Weta Digital, we know them, was going to give her cybernetic arms. Well, she only got 3 seconds of screen time. So they was like, we ain't giving her cybernetic arms. She's not enough visibility. So I said, hey, Paulina, let's do a photo shoot. I'll give you those arms. Step aside, Weta. It's time for blenders to shine. So yeah, I just covered up her arms. I made those completely opposable, and a lot of procedural grime and textures on there. And that was a blast. I love that stuff because, again, who has pictures like this? It's cool. I'm not trying to brag. I love my work. My work makes me happy. It happens to make me money sometimes too, which is nice. This is another real simple one, just some curves, making vines, some procedural bump on there, and I distributed some super simple leaf things along the trail there. Now, like I said, my slogan is photos you can't get anywhere else. Again, that's thanks to Blender. I've got ahead of myself. Next slide here. So I mentioned earlier doing weird things with Blender that is not really made for. I made a treehouse for my kids. In 2020, when everything shut down and we weren't having fun, couldn't go places, my wife offhandedly said, hey, why don't you make the kids a treehouse? I was like, I'm not that guy. I'm a nerd. I'm inside in my AC. I can't build stuff. And then I got to thinking about it. I was like, you know what? I may not have AutoCAD, but I have Blender. And you can do imperial measurements in there. I can do inches. So I designed from bottom up a treehouse. If you go to the next slide, you can actually see it. So my dad, brother, and I, we built it over the course of like 4 Saturdays. We made this platform. It's 16 by 16, 5 feet off the ground. There was only one broken arm as a result of that. But lots of more memories to outweigh that. And my kids loved it. Now, only 5 of these are my kids. You know, I'm not crazy or anything. Just aside from designing a treehouse, I made a video set. I managed a TV channel called UCTV for Universal City, again, about an hour south of here. And this is my computer, my Blender version of what we were going to purchase for and design, and we ended up having it actually made in real life. And that was priceless to us because before buying a single thing, we could measure things out in the space that we had allotted, which is only like 10 by 10 square feet. And we made it work. Blender can do all kinds of weird things it wasn't designed for, and that's what I love. That's a sign of a powerful software. And those are some procedural noise nodes that I made. I've modeled an entire church in Houston for their additional add-on. Before they paid for it and raised funds for it, they wanted to see what it would look like. Would things fit? Yeah, they do now. Next one. Same things with these buildings here. This is actually by San Antonio. And to me, I mean, honestly, these look pretty photorealistic to me because of a variety of techniques and compositing. But I just love that I'm able to do architectural stuff and make lightsabers in the same week. That's pretty great. Those are some of my examples of kit bashes that I've produced that I love making this stuff because it speeds up my workflow in building scenes and populating scenes. And other people do the same. They don't have to model a single thing because I made it all for them. So it's a big thanks to SuperHive for what they've been able to provide for me. So where photo meets render, this is some of my specialty stuff here. Where this guy, he somehow forgot his 6-foot sword when he went to Comic-Con. He forgot it in his hotel room. So I said, hey, don't worry about it. Hold my monopod here, which is, it's about the same width as this. So he's got my monopod posing with it, and I took care of it in post. And fixed it in post, right? Classic. I do that way too often. So there we go. He suddenly had his sword back, and he loved it. These are all using Blender, of course. I found a pack of 52 card images, placed them in Blender, arranged them on a curve. Boom, took me like 30 minutes, and I love that render. Ice crystals, that sword she did not have, and blood dots. Similar to this one, she also didn't have this weapon, because let's face it, anime weapons are pretty expensive. And also, if they're even created, sometimes they're weak and flimsy, and they'll break at Comic-Con. So she was holding, what was she holding? I think it was the monopod again. That monopod has been really trusty. Swap that out with a version of that, bunch of floating sword blades, and of course, he was quizzing on the ground, and I slapped him on the side of a building. And it's not like my best work visually, but I just like that it works. It's just simple. It's a cartoon. This is a cool photo shoot. This came from a dream I had about an angel who came down to earth, had a kingdom, did angel-y cool stuff. And I wanted to do a photo shoot, but the wings that you can buy online are expensive and they're kind of cheesy. At least I haven't found the good ones that I want to afford. So I said, you know what? I'll fix that. I'll make them in Blender. So I learned how to do some basic hair simulation with the comb. Isn't that weird, combing hair in Blender? I always felt weird about that. And I managed to make some janky, workable angel wings, all in 2.79 back in the day. And I think they look pretty great. To me, that fits the bill for me. And she loved it. And I was really happy how it turned out. Very unique. These are some other cosplayers that I've shot. Sometimes they're at Comic-Con, sometimes it's a full-on shoot. But I love being able to make environments that don't exist in real life. I couldn't quite afford to go to, ILM to go shoot next to the Millennium Falcon or Disneyland and sneak in there with a costume. But I'm able to put people in fantasy worlds, and that's been really fun. Other people hire me to edit their photos too. I didn't take this photo. Another wedding photographer did, and he paid me to add some AT-ATs, as they're actually pronounced, and some lightsabers in there, and have fun with that. This is one of my favorite pieces. This was a group I did shoot at Comic-Con, and I made an entire Cyberpunk city behind them, which is a little overkill. So you can kind of see it already. This is just viewport. So there's buildings. A lot of these are Kitbash 3D, awesome company. Kind of does what I do, just a little better. And I built cars, I built flying stuff, I modified a bunch of signs, and just being able to build that behind them was awesome. Still one of my favorite composites that I've ever done. Here's some other characters with added CGI props. This was an entire world that I built, or a level I built behind him, an environment, sorry. We got some floating weapons, robots, a little flying dagger towards the camera with a simple curve. This took like 30 seconds to model. Okay, maybe a minute to model. Very simple stuff. But when you get a little editing spice in there, when you know how to use Blender, it's been awesome. So that's it for my time today, guys. If you have any questions about photo shoots, compositing, practical lighting, anything like that, catch me later before I head out of here. And thank you guys. Appreciate it.